Your story changed you. Now let it change the lives of others. This is a Candy Factory Mini. So you want to write a book? With Suzette Mullen.
Join me as we follow the development of a nonfiction book from idea to completion. We'll explore the creative process as well as the nuts and bolts of pitching and publication. Get a behind-the-scenes look of my book coaching process, as well as clear takeaways and nuggets of wisdom. Let me walk alongside you as you learn to tell your story.
Hello, I'm Suzette Mullen, book coach, nonfiction writer, and your host. Welcome to this episode of So You Want to Write a Book. My goal is to break down the complex process of becoming an author so that you can finally write the book that's been tugging at your heart or rattling around your head. And if you have questions, I want them. This show is for you. So I want you to go ahead and grab a pen and paper, or maybe you're just your laptop or your phone so you can jot down some notes. And let's go ahead and get started. Last week, we talked about a big topic. It was books and money. And the question we were really trying to answer was, can you make money writing a book? Well, the answer, as you might expect, is it depends. We talked about what your motivations for writing a book were, whether money was motivating you, or whether you just had a story you were burning to share. And we talked about looking beyond book sales because writing a book can be part of your brand. This week, we're taking on another big topic. It is the often mysterious and daunting topic of author platform. Author platform is very often misunderstood, and frankly, writers can be so intimidated by it that they just put their heads in the sand and they don't do anything about it. So my goal this week is to unpack this tricky and mysterious topic and help you take some concrete steps so you can begin building your author platform. So here's one of my favorite books. It's called Platform. It's by Michael Hyatt. And he says that platform is the stage that you use to connect with your readers. It's how you get noticed in a noisy world. Tim Grahl, another one of my favorite authors who speaks about author platform, and he wrote this great book, Your First 1,000 Copies, says that author platform is code for how you're going to sell your book. I love this definition because it's just so simple and direct. He goes on to say that platform is finding the people who connect with what you write, building real relationships with them by being, as he says, relentlessly helpful, and then offering them a product, which in this case is your book, to purchase when it's ready. So I want you to notice something. I have not said anything about having thousands of social media followers when it comes to platform. This is one of the biggest misconceptions about author platform. So if you don't remember anything else from today, this is what I'd like you to remember. Platform does not equal social media numbers or followers. Social media is a very useful tool in building your platform, but it's only one of many tools. So here are the 5 main steps you need to take to build your author platform. Step 1, get absolutely clear and be consistent with your message. Now, this makes a lot of sense. Even if you go out and find your readers and you get in front of them, if you're not clear about what you've come to say about your message, what are you going to say to them when you get there? So being clear about your message is often trickier than you would think. So it's getting clarity about the main point of your book. Let's use my memoir as an example. Even though I knew the facts of my story, of course, I had lived it after all, it wasn't until much later that I really understood what my story was about. There were times when I thought my book, my message was about denial about sexuality. There were other times I thought it was about the connection between faith and sexuality. And it was only through a lot of hard work and a lot of thinking and a lot of coaching with my book coaches that I discovered that the point of my book, what it was really about, was about learning to listen to and trust my inner voice at midlife. And through that, I was able to identify a clear message that I wanted to share, which is that there's a voice deep inside each of us that's calling us to be more fully ourselves. And the question is, will we listen to it? So after you identify your clear message, you get clear on what you're coming to say, it's time to take the second step, which is identifying your ideal reader. Or as my book coaching colleague and marketing strategist, Michelle Melton Cox says, know who your crew is. Who are you trying to help with your book? Now, this question, who are you trying to help, obviously applies to nonfiction categories like self-help or personal development or business strategy books. But it's really true for all types of books, including memoir and fiction. Who are you trying to help with your book? Who will connect with your message? So back to my memoir example. My people, my ideal readers, my crew are primarily women at midlife whose deep desire is to really live their next chapter. But they don't know what that means for them, and they don't know how they're going to do that. So, once you've got clarity on your message, step 1, clarity on who your ideal reader is, step 2, it's time for step 3, and it's time to go out and find where that crew hangs out and go engage with them. So you need to go to them, to your readers, not wait for them to come to you. So go ahead and start where you're already connected in real life and online. There's lots and lots of different ways you can approach this, and here are just a few. You can seek out opportunities to speak to your crew about your message at conferences, at networking events, being a guest on a podcast. You can write articles, blog posts, essays, and pitch them to publications where your crew hangs out, the publications that they read. Of course, the dream is having a piece of content go viral on BuzzFeed or Modern Love, and gosh, I wish that for you. So you get the attention of lots of readers and maybe an agent and an editor or two. But for most of us, we need to focus on our core readers. So my readers are older Gen Xers and late baby boomer women. And when I think about my real life connections, I think about my college and law school alumni networks. I think about local and national networking groups I'm part of, the various communities I've been part of in my adult life, church groups, social justice organizations, my different friend groups. Now online, my readers, this late baby boomer Gen X group, they still mostly hang out on Facebook. So what I've done is I've joined multiple Facebook groups that are geared toward women at midlife. And in those groups, I engage in conversations and I try to be relentlessly helpful. I answer questions. I've been a guest on several podcasts where I shared my story. And I also share relevant content like blog posts. And blog posts I've written or blog posts that other people have written that I think will be helpful. Now, you can do the same thing, of course, on other social media platforms where your crew is hanging out. For entrepreneurs and coaches, LinkedIn is often a great place to start. You can join LinkedIn groups, engage in conversations there, and be relentlessly helpful. Always be relentlessly helpful. So we've worked through our first 3 steps. We have a message, we know who our readers are, and we've gone out to where they are and we're engaging with them. Step 4, continue to be a giver, not a taker, by offering value to your ideal reader. And the next step, step 4, is invite your reader into your world. Now, this invitation can take many different forms. For example, you could invite your reader to join a private Facebook group that you've created that is discussing the subject of your book. I've been involved in several of those. And in that Facebook group, you're going to continue to nurture your reader and provide value to them. But any of you who do any online marketing probably know where I'm going with this. Invite your reader into your world by inviting them to join your email list. Tim Grahl, again, I just took a course with him, so he's on my brain, says that the number 1 goal of your platform strategy should be to build your email list. And most experts would agree. So once you've invited your reader into your world, where you're going to continue to nurture them, and you've invited them to join your email list, you're ready for the final step, step 5. Invite your reader to take action. When your book is ready, invite your readers to buy your book. And you can do this through your email list and through your social media connections. By the time you get to step 5, ideally, you not only have a crew ready to buy your book, but you also have a crew of super fans, of ambassadors, who will encourage others to buy your book too. So let's step back for a moment. We've gone through these 5 steps. And let's just take a little longer view of talking about publication and platform. I'm wondering if some of you are thinking, if I get a publisher, won't they sell the book for me? Do I even have to worry about platform? Well, here's the truth. Publishers are looking for authors to bring readers to them, not the other way around. So whichever path you take for publication, whether you pursue traditional publication, hybrid publication, or self-publication, you are going to be the primary marketer of your book. Now, of course, if you do have a traditional publisher, they will be providing some level of support for marketing your book. But you still need to know how to reach your readers, no matter which publication path you follow. Now, some of you may also have heard that you can't get a traditional publication deal if you don't have a major platform. Well, this isn't exactly true. What is true is that if you don't have it, what's true is that it's harder. It's harder to get a traditional publication deal without a platform, without a significant platform, especially for a nonfiction book. But it's not impossible. Here's what happens. Nonfiction books are sold based on a book proposal, which is really a business plan for your book. And part of that book proposal is your marketing plan, which is where you will either demonstrate the connections you've already made, or you'll show where and how you plan to build those connections. Again, I just want to come back to what I said at the beginning of the show. I want you to remember that platform is not solely about social media followers. It's not really about social media followers at all. It's about showing that you have meaningful connections with ideal readers that can translate into book sales. So, when should you start building your platform? You've probably guessed it. Now, today. It's not a quick check off your list kind of task. It's building connections over time. So the sooner you start, really start today, whether you have a book idea or wherever you are in the book process. The sooner you start, the better. And what do you do if you're starting from scratch, from ground zero? Well, first of all, I want to assure you that you probably aren't. You already have connections in the real world and you have connections online. You can prioritize your platform building energy with a tool that Michelle Melton Cox is offering to you. It's called the Author Platform Audit, and you can download that for free at bookcoachingworks.com/platform audit. It's a great free resource and I encourage you to take advantage of it. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by this information. I hope you're not, but if you are and you're feeling like I'm paralyzed, I can't do all of this. Well, first of all, I want you to know I get it. It's a lot. You're trying to write a book. Most of you have a day job and now you're being told you have to build a platform. It can be easy to just throw up your hands and do nothing. Well, I've been there, but you're going to do something. What you should do is take stock of where you are already connected and build on those connections. Don't try to post on every single social media platform. Pick one. Pick the one where your crew is already hanging out and just start engaging there. If you don't have an author website, this would be time to go ahead and start building a simple one. It doesn't need to be complicated. Or you can add an author page to your existing website and just a place where you can start collecting email addresses and a place that you can house your content that you own. So my advice is just start somewhere and consistently take action in that place. So as we wrap up, I want to just bring to your attention a few more trusted resources. So Dan Blank, he wrote this great book, Be the Gateway, and he has a really great website, wegrowmedia.com, with all kinds of free resources for authors on platform. I already mentioned Michael Hyatt, the platform book, and I've mentioned Tim Grahl, who's at booklaunch.com and his book, Your First 1,000 Copies. JaneFriedman.com is another great author website that's excellent. And of course, I want to invite you to go to bookcoachingworks.com and to learn more about Michelle Melton Cox's author platform services. So let's recap the 5 steps to building your author platform. Step 1, get your message clear. Step 2, identify your ideal reader. Step 3, go to where your readers are and be helpful. Step 4, invite them into your world. Step 5, invite them to buy your book when it's available for sale. And in the spirit of inviting people into your world, I'd love to invite you into mine. Every week, I send out a short newsletter with stories and tips for book lovers and writers. And you can sign up to receive that at yourstoryfinder.com. Next week, we're taking the long view of your book writing journey. What are the main steps along the way? What are the main decision points? And How long will it take to go from idea to publication? How much time should you commit each week to your book writing journey? And how are you going to find that time? So I look forward to seeing you then, and I invite you to share the mini show link with your friends. And again, if you have any questions that have popped up throughout this episode and you didn't share them in the chat, I invite you to drop me a line at hello@yourstoryfinder.com, and I'll be sure to answer your questions. And also, if there's any topics that you'd like me to cover, this show again is for you, so I want to hear from you. In the meantime, happy reading and writing.
So You Want to Write a Book is part of the Candy Factory mini-series and is a proud member of the Candy Factory Collective. You can find the show streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And you can subscribe to the audio version anywhere you get your podcasts.
Over the past 8 years, Suzette has been on a mission to help writers clear the fog and cut through the overwhelm so they can move their ideas out of their head and onto the page.
Her later in life coming out journey and her professional experience as an author, accelerator, certified book coach, and Dare to Lead trained professional, as well as her time at Harvard Law School, Wellesley College, and Columbia Theological Seminary, have given her a unique perspective, as well as many of her own stories to tell.
When she's not writing or coaching other writers, Suzette can be found on her yoga mat,
advocating for the Lancaster LGBTQ+ coalition,
or hanging out with her partner, Wendy, and their rescue pup, Lucy.
Visit yourstoryfinder.com to learn more about Suzette and her life story, as well as her writing coach offerings.
Life's too short to stay stuck, so why not write that book?
So You Want to Write a Book is produced by the Candy Factory Collective at the Candy Factory Co-working Campus in Lancaster, PA.
Production support by Anna Tran. Administrative support by Ann Kirby, Ariana Henderson, Krisha Marcel, Jason Mundock, and Robert Diggs. Notes and links can be found on the show post at our website, candyfactorycollective.com. Candy Factory.
Collective.